Hi, Rex Walter for Tim and Hetty's World. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. For those of you who just finished celebrating Hanukkah, have a belated Happy Hanukkah. When my mom was alive, at her residence, the Britton House, every January they would have, around Robbie Burns Day, they would have a poetry night. And residents would read poetry, and because my mom's had aphasia, she couldn't recite her poetry, but I could do it for her. So I would do these Stanley Holloway monologues, Pick Up the Musket, which many of you have heard, Three Halfpence a Foot, which a few of you have heard, and there's another one. This one I'm going to do today. It doesn't have a Christmas theme, but this is sort of a Christmas present for my mom. It's called Alt U Goes There. It was on the B side of Stanley Holloway's first monologue, which was Pick Up the Musket. So Robbie, this is before Albert Ramsbottom, The Lion and Albert, or any of those. So this was the second one that Stanley Holloway did. Anyways, I think I've got it down pretty well. So we'll see how it goes. I am an anachronism. I'm a throwback, and I'm also wearing the world's most expensive jacket. Christmas show. Everybody remembers that. That was a blast. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, here we go. Old Sam first came to London when George IV were king. He'd been in the army, man and boy, for 20 years come spring. The troops were lined up on parade when Sergeant says, "Yes, Sam, Teneath that goes on sentry go at Palace, Buckingham." So off goes Sam to Palace Gate, his chest puffed out with pride. With musket on his shoulder, he walked up and down outside. A crowd soon thronged around him and caused a fearful jam. Some come to look at King and Queen, some come to look at Sam. Sam stood there cold and haughty like, with dignity sublime. Some's asked, "Were you at Waterloo?" Some's asked, "What's a time?" When suddenly from out of crowd a chap walks bold and straight. He crosses right in front of Sam and tries to open gate. Old Sam said, "Alt, and who goes there? Who's thee, does thou suppose?" The stranger answered, "George IV. I lives in ears and knows." Old Sam said, "What, d'ye think I'm daft? Don't try to tell me that. If thou art king, then where's thee crown, that wearing bowler hat?" "That's reet," said King, "that's reet enough. It's strange to thee, no doubt. But I put on bowler hat, 'cause it were raining when I comed out." "Oh, well," said Sam, "I suppose you're right. I didn't know 'twere thee." The King said, "No offence, me lad. Come in for a cup of tea." "I'd like a cup of tea," said Sam. "I don't mind if I do." The Queen pours cup of tea and says, "How many lumps, Sam? 2?" They chatted there for half an hour when knock came at the door. The King he goes and finds the Duke of Wellington there for sure. "Good afternoon," says Duke of Wellington. "Is Sam with thee?" "Aye, he isn't all," said King. "He's having a cup of tea." "Well, that's a pretty thing," said Duke. "That's pretty, I declare." He catches sight of Sam and says, "Sam, what you doing in there?" Sam came to the door all jumpy like and red as anything. "I'm doing nothing, Duke," he cries, "but having tea with kings." "I thought that there was summat up," the Duke coldly replied, "because I saw the musket leaning against railings outside. Some clumsy chap had knocked it down. It give me quite a scare. So I stooped and picked it up, seeing as thee weren't there." "You stooped and picked me musket up," said Sam. "Well, I declare. And thee with thy lumbago too. I bet it made thee swear." "I'll not wait for second cup," said Sam. "I'll come with thee. So good night, both your majesties, and long live both your majesties, and whene'er there's next in Lancashire, there's tea with me." There you go. Alt U Goes There, Stanley Holloway, 1930. And that's a Christmas present to my mom. So adios. You won't be hearing from me again until 2021, which I hope for all of us is a better year. Rex Walter for Tim and Hetty's World and the Rex Reports, signing off for now.